Hello everybody, it's March 28th, 2022. Sorry about the lack of video on Friday. As I said last Monday, I was going to be away. Wasn't sure if I was going to get to that video or not. So, in any case, I am back now, and Bitcoin has obviously invalidated the immediate bearish scenario that I'd laid out as honestly the best case scenario for us was that lower low. However, having broken above 45.8 has made things very unclear. So I was bearish below 45.8, and now I am neutral. I'm not bullish. I am neutral. So I am still flat as far as my portfolio goes. I had originally sold all my crypto back here, so I'm still below where I sold all of it, and the alts that I was holding took a much larger hit in general during this drop. So many of those alts I'm well below where I sold as well. So I'm really not feeling any pressure at all to get back into crypto until things start getting a little bit more clear. So what I want to do here is zoom out. This is the daily chart, and go over what some of the options are at this point in time, because we are still not in a bullish scenario. There's a possible bullish scenario, but it's really not pretty. And I've gone over that before, but I'll go over it again. So first thing I'm going to do is remove this fib that no longer applies. We're going to remove this blue count that no longer applies. Micro yellow no longer applies. Okay. And so we're basically back to the more macro viewpoint here. And let's zoom out just a little bit further. I'll go over this again. We topped out originally in what I'm viewing as wave 3 of the larger move off of the COVID crash low here. And we are still waiting for this fifth wave top, which should be in the 100 to 130K region. But we really need to see a good setup in order to get us there, and right now we don't have it. So what's happened in the meantime is that this was an A wave down, this move up was a B wave up to higher high, higher than 3, and now we're coming down in a expanded flat for the C wave of this correction, where we're finally going to end wave 4 at some point. So the question remains, is 4 done? Was this low right here the end of 4? And it is possible, and it's become more possible now with 45.8K getting broken, but like I said, we're still not out of the woods and can certainly still see a lower low from here, which makes this quite difficult to try to trade. So I'm looking for 5 waves down within this C wave. That's typically what you get. And best case right now I see 1, 2, 3. This originally was my 4, and we were going to come down for a 5th wave. What I said in the last couple of videos is that if Bitcoin breaks 45.8, it's not a clear win for the bulls, because this could potentially just be resetting this 4th wave over here. So that is still a possibility. I'm going to make this, I don't know, orange or something now, because it's been called into question, but it is possible that we still top there in that 4th wave and then make a 5th wave lower, somewhere down here just below this 3rd wave. I don't really even care where it goes, but I want to see this low broken. That's 32, let's just call it 33K. I want to see 33K break in order for that to officially, play out what the expectation is, which is 5 waves down. So, like I said, that's still a possibility. It's still on the table. The bullish alternative to that, now that we've broken 45.8, is that this is making a leading diagonal up. So, in the best case scenario, like if we zoom back out here, the best case scenario, when you're dealing with Elliott Wave structures, is that you get a pretty clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You want to get a very clear 5-wave structure up. And if you zoom into the micro, you should be able to see a pretty clear 5-wave structure up as well. This had barely any wave 2 in this stretch, but we can sort of count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We can at least count 5 waves within that structure in the micro. And the problem is, off of this low, we don't have it. Off the 33K low. All of this is corrective action. I've gone over that before. This is pretty clearly ABC up, right? And this is, it looked like a beautiful 5 waves down, and we shouldn't be getting 5 waves down like that if we are intending to go up. This is an indication that further downside is to come in a normal scenario. So that's the other reason that I was bearish below 45.8. But in any case, that's kind of been invalidated at this point, so it doesn't really matter. And potentially this is going to be A, B, and C up in a larger third wave, or potentially a WXY. And this is the danger again. So what we're doing is really not clearly bullish or bearish right now because of these corrective structures that we're seeing in here. This action is absolutely awful. I mean, just the chop within here is not indicative of a good foundation. This low, for instance, the original A wave that we struck over here, when we came off that low, look at how directly we started pumping up. And that's not what we're seeing at all right now. We're seeing just chop. So this was a much more bullish situation back here, and is why I bought in this region. Once we came off that low and then made this low, I bought right here because this is a clear ABC down. Really, really nice, and rode that up, right? I ended up selling it all right here, so bought there, sold there, missed out on these gains, but whatever. I didn't lose money, and that's really all that matters, is preserving your capital. So anyhow, right now there is no clear setup. Like, this was a clear setup to buy. Right now, there is absolutely no clear setup to buy. The only way I will consider buying this is if we can push up into this red box region. I will consider buying a touch of this potential channel. Right now, it's not even confirmed where this channel is. This is just kind of an estimate right now. We have to see that wave 3 top first. So what I'm looking for is basically the fib extension of the bottom to 1 to 2. We should see at a minimum the 1.236 for this third wave in a diagonal. So that's where I've got that box. And likely it doesn't go past the 1618. So somewhere in this region of 51.8 to 58.8 is the ideal top for that third wave. That's why I've got that box right there. And then once that does top out, then we can place this diagonal wherever that actually ends up going. And the second wave gets tagged down here for the bottom of the channel. And then, like I said, we can look for a pullback in order to buy for a scalp long. And that would only be a scalp because I really don't trust diagonals at all. And like I said, this was the original target up here, but I don't see this getting us there. Like, let's even play this out. Let's say this goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a diagonal. What does that do for us? It might be, like, best case scenario, might be a leading diagonal for a wave 1, like all of this is 1, and then we come down for a 2, which is going to be a hefty drawdown from that point, right? We could go 75K back down into the 40s for wave 1 and wave 2. and then maybe we get a big 3, but it would have to be huge, and 4 and 5, and this would have to go up above the target, and so it doesn't really make sense. And that's why I'm saying potentially if this plays out, this may just be the end. This final wave here, wave 5 of 3, might truncate. It might not get to 100 to 130. It might just end between 70 and 80 if this diagonal plays out. So it's going to be really, really difficult to try to trade this, unfortunately. And this is exactly what I did not want to see because of that. I wanted to see, well, I didn't even care where it went down here. What I wanted to see is an impulse off of the low. If we have an impulse, we can play that really, really easily with good risk management. And unfortunately, that's not what we're getting. So I still prefer that we just be resetting this wave 4 right here. I can't guarantee that's what it's going to do though, which is why I am now simply neutral rather than bearish or bullish. So until that clarifies itself, I can't recommend any high probability trades at all. And I'm just going to put this on the chart. So if that 4 is correct, it would be, this would be counted as a WXY up. Let's put that WXY in orange, right? So here's our two scenarios. Either WXY, we reset wave 4, and then we still come down to wave 5. That's still very, very possible. Or 1, 2, 3 would press a little higher than I would expect Y to press, but not necessarily. It could strike, Y could even strike the bottom of that, to be honest, and then still come down. But if we push well into that, it's more likely to be a third wave. So that's kind of the line, I guess, in the sand right there. Is 51.8 above that? I would lean towards the bull scenario. Topping out below it and coming down, I lean towards the bear scenario. But like I said, I am neutral right now until more action tells us what to expect. And then we'll go from there. You know, if we come down here, grab a scalp long up, you know, that's kind of going to be the best option that we have at that point for Bitcoin. So, and the other thing to note, obviously, is the RSI is getting really, really high here. We haven't really been this high before, you know, except for when we were kind of pumping in this area before the retrace. We got up that high. And obviously during the super bullish times, we get way higher than that. So it's not necessarily a super bearish signal right now. It could just keep pushing up, but RSI is getting quite overbought. So we would expect a pullback of some sort in the near future. So just go down to the hourly real quick and see if there's anything else that I can add to this analysis down here. Not really. Again, it's just all crap action like this. Here's our 33K low here. We don't have 5 waves up. It's all chop. We have 5 waves down. We don't have 5 waves up. Again, that's just ABC. I really can't call any of this bullish. And nothing that's happened here is bullish either. So I know, you know, like it's pumping and it's going up, but it does not have a strong base. It's almost like if you were trying to build a building, and you know, if you're building a building, you want to have a nice solid base, and then you know you can build on top of that, whatever, right? And if you're building a pyramid, for instance, right, you build it like this. And Bitcoin right now is not doing that. It's trying to set up like something that looks like this, like, ooh, this is a good idea. Let's build it like this. Oh, yeah, that looks great. We're going up, but what's actually going to happen is that's going to crash down. You know, like you don't build a building that way. And this is not a strong foundation for this to build upon. It really, really isn't. So I need to continue warning against getting too bullish and FOMOing into things, because it's all crap. All of this action is crap. And I am perfectly happy to remain in cash until something more clear resolves itself and gives me an opportunity to make money. So I'm not in Bitcoin for the technology. I'm not in Bitcoin for you know, the future of money. I don't care. I read charts, right? I think Bitcoin is a great idea, and I think eventually it's going to be you know, potentially useful as governments continue their out of control spending and all that sort of stuff. Especially if a CBDC gets produced at some point. We need alternatives to get around the government trying to control everything, and Bitcoin might be one of those options, but more likely than not it's going to be something else that actually is more private. But regardless, yeah, I don't know. I'm reading the chart, and the chart is not telling me to buy it, so I'm not, and that pretty much sums up my stance on it. I don't care if this goes up without me. I really don't care. I'm going to be completely happy to watch it go all the way up to 60K and me not have any. Doesn't matter to me, because I know there's always going to be a pullback, and I'll buy it back down here, and that's fine with me, because then at least I'll have proof. All right, guys, I think that's all I've got for tonight. So I will talk to you all on Friday. We'll see what the rest of the week brings, and we'll go from there. All right, good night, everybody. As always, if you appreciate the analysis, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and check out the suggested video where I go over the macro viewpoint on Bitcoin from the 3,000 lows that we saw previously.